Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Artem, and I'm 12 years old, and I'm going to be talking on the topic of the shape of possibility. When we hear the phrase, the shape of possibility, at first it sounds like something a philosopher would say while dramatically staring out of a window. But for me, it began in a much less dramatic way. It started with a spring holiday to Spain in 2020. We came for 2 weeks. That was the plan. But then the world said, surprise, lockdown. And suddenly we weren't going home. At first, it felt like everything had been taken from us. But then something interesting happened. We saw an opportunity to change our usual way of life, to learn new languages, to try living differently. So now, I want to ask you something. What if this unexpected twist wasn't a problem, but a chance? What if every challenge is just a shape waiting to be filled with possibility? And that's how my story really began. Barcelona, September 2020, my first day at school. Year 3, masks everywhere. Kids chatting in languages I couldn't understand, and teachers giving instructions I couldn't follow. And there I was thinking, wow, where am I? What is happening? I felt like a penguin in the desert. Cute, maybe, but completely out of place. And you know what? I think that exact feeling is familiar to a lot of kids, maybe even to some adults. Well, and in that moment, possibility didn't feel like a gift. It felt like a problem, a struggle. Actually, it felt like drowning. I kept thinking, why do I have to do this? But here's what I learned. Possibility often comes disguised as discomfort. It tests you before it gives you anything back. And then something changed. Every day, even when it was hard, I tried. I listened even when my brain felt tired and confused. I spoke even when my voice was shaky and my sentences didn't make sense. I made mistakes, lots of them, wrong answers, awkward sentences, moments where I completely froze. But instead of letting those moments stop me, I treated them like clues. At home, I practiced. I learned new words. And slowly, I stopped being afraid of being wrong and started being curious about learning. And that shift changed everything. September turned into June. Confusion turned into understanding. Strangers turned into friends. Well, and now, here I am, standing on the stage, speaking to you all in English, a language that once felt impossible. So, what is the shape of possibility? It's not a ready made road, it's a decision. It's the decision to move forward even when you're scared. But that decision doesn't always have to be something big and dramatic, like moving to a new country. Sometimes it's small. Small choices, big changes. One small, but super scary choice for me was signing up for handball. I loved sports, but there was only one problem. My coach only spoke in Catalan. At first, I stood there, feeling lost again, just like my first day at school. But instead of quitting, I stayed. I watched, I copied, I learned. And slowly, I started understanding the language. Then, almost by accident, I sent one short video, just sharing my story. I didn't really think much of it, but somehow it led to this, standing here today. And that's when I truly understood. Small choices open huge doors, even in everyday life. For example, in the USA, around 57% of people don't recycle. That's more than half of the population. But imagine if that number dropped to 56, just 1%, right? But that's millions of people making a slightly better choice. Imagine if, when you leave this auditorium, you pick up one plastic bottle, just one, But think about the impact it will have on this place, on Malaga, on the planet. And it's not just about the environment. When you're sitting in class and thinking like you're drifting off, ask yourself, am I in a good struggle or a bad one? Because that exact moment of difficulty might be the moment that changes everything. So now, for the final time, I would like to ask you, are you really using all the possibilities that this life gives you? No, right? Or let's make it even simpler. Are you really using all the possibilities of this place, Malaga, this city? When a teacher announces a competition that says, participation is optional, what do you feel? A spark of excitement, or do you immediately go, that's not really for me? Are you moving forward, or are you still waiting for the perfect moment? Because, let's be honest, the perfect moment is just another way to say never. So stop waiting. Stop destroying your opportunities with the word later. Say yes to the world. Give everything you can from what is already around you. Do not be afraid of difficulties. They are not obstacles. They're the material that shapes you. Choose one dream, one idea, one thing you've been putting off and start today. Because we never truly know how our life might change when we finally start using our opportunities. The shape of possibility has no shape until you give it one. So give it one today. Thank you.